Welcome to the Disney Parks Podcast with your hosts, Tony Casanova from DisneyByTheNumbers.com and Parkhopper John from WDWParkhoppers.com. Keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast at all times. And get ready for the Disney Parks Podcast.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's Disney Parks Podcast show. I am so excited you are here. We have some incredible news. We have news from all over the Disney world. We have a review of the Ant-Man movie. Let's talk about some events. The Crescent Lake Crawl meetup is happening on the 19th, which is this coming Sunday at 6 p.m. We're going to start at the Boardwalk at the Bellevue Lounge. And then at 7:30, we're all going to be at the Yacht Club. We're going to meet at the Crew Cup. It's a great place to get some snacky snacks, maybe some foodie food. And then at 8:30, we're going to meander over to the Beach Club and wind up at Martha's Vineyard. I hope you guys can come out there. I'd love to see you. This is going to be my first official meetup back. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
I am gathering some little goodie bag thingies.
Oh, we are too.
Are you?
Yes, we are.
So.
Mine are not going to be nearly as cool as yours, I'm sure.
They probably will. And then I have some other stuff from some guests that have been on the show. And if you come, you'll find out what those things are.
Excellent.
Yeah. And then, if that's not enough, in August, we have yet another meetup. We are going to have, and this is, if you've never been here, you will want to come. And this is a very limited engagement, very limited seating. This is not just show up kind of event. There are tickets for this event because we have to provide the venue with a head count so that they are prepared. So the next meetup will be in August 8th at noon. If you want to come, it will be at the Plancha, which is part of the Four Seasons golf course. It'll be in the golf clubhouse, and it's not actually up by the resort. It's over by the golf, where you would want to go golfing.
Yes.
Where you would get your golf cart and have your clubs cleaned or whatever you would do at the golf club. Change it to your little golf outfit and, whatever you have to do there.
Get your knickers on.
Yeah, get your knickers on. And an interesting thing is in the men's locker room, there's still Dick Nunes' locker. And it still has his name on it.
Dick Nunes.
And if you don't know who he is, well, that's
look it up, kids. Google it.
Yeah, that's too bad. You'll have to do that. So, if you want to come to this event, please go to Plancha Lunch by DPP.eventzilla.net, and you can find a link to this in our show note. You have to register so that we can give them a head count. Please do not just show up willy-nilly. I cannot guarantee that there'll be a seat for you if you so want to sit. So,
and again, those tickets are free.
Right.
This is not an event you have to pay for, although there will be food and beverage that you are on your own for. We're not providing food and beverage. This is a get-together meetup. The tickets are free, but we have to have a head count. I think that's kind of. I think we've beat that to death pretty well. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Excellent.
So. Yeah.
All right.
The food is not on us. The food is on you. So
hopefully not.
Yeah.
There's no food fighting going on. Let's be adults, kids.
Yeah.
Wait.
Whatever you order, you will have to pay for.
Correct.
For this event, at least.
And now, Disney Parks Podcast News.
Right. All right. The next thing on our list that we want to remind you, John is working hard and diligently on a newsletter that will be going out soon. And it looks awesome as always. And if you have not, I suggest that you go to DisneyParksPodcast.com, and right there on the homepage, I believe, I don't even know what the homepage looks like anymore. You can sign up for the newsletter. We just need your name and your email address, and that is it. And we are the nice kind of people. We are not the government. We will not sell your email address. So that's the good news.
And we don't spam you.
We just send you the good stuff.
Right. Send you just quality Disney crack just for you.
Just for you in your own little privacy of your own mailbox at home.
Correct.
All right.
Absolutely. We're really excited because last night, as we record this, we got to see a preview event. Thank you to Marvel and Disney and our good friends over at MoRock for the Ant-Man, Marvel's Ant-Man, starring Paul Rudd and the venerable Mr. His name just totally went out of my head.
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas. Gosh, I got to re-record that.
Yeah, he's married to Catherine Zeta-Jones. You should remember that.
There's a reason why he's venerable, ladies and gentlemen. So Ant-Man was really cool. I was nervous about it. I had some trepidations when they made the announcement, when they made the big announcement at Comic-Con last year of the full slate of Marvel movies. As far as the Marvel and Disney side, we're not talking about the Sony or the 20th Century Fox, because they're doing like Deadpool and there's another X-Men coming out and all that good stuff. I'm just talking about the Disney Marvel slate of movies. And I saw that Ant-Man was on the list. I got nervous because I just didn't think the Ant-Man would be all that great, to be brutally honest with you. But what they've been doing is starting with even as far back as Iron Man, but starting specifically with Captain America and the Winter Soldier. The movies are themed. So Captain America and the Winter Soldier was very much a spy espionage thriller. It just happened to involve, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra and Captain America and some other Avenger type superheroes. And then, moving forward, you go through, Age of Ultron was definitely a big budget blockbuster. It was crazy town, so much stuff going on. And then, Guardians of the Galaxy came out last year and it was just like it was a space opera. There's no way around it. It was just a space opera. It was crazy. I have very low expectations and it's my favorite movie that Marvel's done. And then Ant-Man was going to come out and they said it was going to be a heist film. And I'm like, okay, that's going to be awkward. But really, we got in the theater and the lights came down and the movie started and it was a great movie. I thought it started a little slow. I was a little nervous, but they were really building the characters up. When the action started, it felt real. Even the shrinking down to the size of ants, and the ants seemed very, they're very real. The graphics were amazing. The story was what really propelled this movie, and I thought it ended well. And that's my two. But what did you think, Tony?
I thought it was really good. I'm kind of new to the Marvel universe, I have to say. As a kid, I kind of flipped through comic books. As a kid, I can't say I read them from cover to cover. So I'm kind of new to the Marvel universe. But I will say this. The movie is still engaging. Mm-hmm. I thought it was. And, if you're not a Marvel fan or a comic book person, it's still a very good story and a very good engaging film. And there's a lot of, it's about a guy who shrinks down to the size of an ant. So there's a lot of, macro photography. And you would think that would make this film like bad, or ruin the cinematography of it. And it really doesn't. I think it added, extra. A is Marvel, B it's Disney, and those two entities with, Lucas Studios and all that kind of stuff. Really, the cinematography was really still stunning in this movie.
Right.
It was still really pretty good stuff.
I totally agree.
Yeah, and the special effects were, I'm not an expert special effects person, but it didn't look bad to me. Right. It still looked visually okay.
Yeah, this is one of those movies that I'm encouraging people to actually spend the extra money and go see in 3D. Because I think, the 3D wasn't, coming at you like, whoa. But when he shrunk down, it added another layer of it. And it just felt really, it was visceral. It was very visual and it was very, very heady. But at the same time, I really got into it. And to boil it down, it's basically just they're trying to steal something that could have horrible ramifications if it got out. I don't want to ruin too much of it, but when you peel all that away, when you peel the superhero aspect away, it's just a story of a guy, an ex-con, made some poor choices in his life, and he's desperately trying to save, his family. he loves his daughter. It's really, the correlation between, the Paul Rudd character and then the Hank Pym character, who is played by Michael Douglas. They both have daughters, and they're both trying to sort out the relationships there. And I think that is really what the underlying theme of the movie is for me. And I thought it was handled very well, even though there was a lot of problems, with Edgar Wright, who was the original showrunner on this one. But that was really, really good.
Yeah. I have to say, too, that Evangeline Lilly plays Michael Douglas's daughter. And, she's not too bad on the eyes.
Yeah. And the funny thing for me...
So I'd like to see an Ant-Man 2 with her in it.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't want to give anything away, but I think that we're probably going to see more of her.
Yes. Yeah.
More of her in several meanings of the word more.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing was Scott's ex-wife, who plays the Paul Rudd character, Scott Lang.
Judy Greer.
Yeah, it's Judy Greer. And if you're an Archer fan, I just had Pam lines going through my head the whole time. I'm like, that's Pam from Archer. That's so freaky.
And that's okay. I was thinking about her playing Ashton Kutcher's ex-wife on 2.5 Men.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She was.
And she also has another show on, what is it, Fox or TBS? Married.
Yeah.
So she's all over the place lately.
There's a lot of...
She's working hard for her money.
And then the main bad guy in this movie, whose name is completely escaping me right now, was on House of Cards. Yeah, he was the go-to guy for House of Cards for the first season. So it's really, there's a lot of great actors here, and we haven't said a ton of their names, but the very fact that Michael Douglas is in it and they're in San Francisco. I mean, I grew up watching the streets of San Francisco, and I thought that was great. And he really does. I really thought that this was going to be a Paul Rudd tentpole, and it's really not. It's a Michael Douglas movie, and he does such an amazing job.
Yeah, and I think I saw in the credits that Paul Rudd also helped write the screenplay for this.
He did. Yeah, just a little, and I don't know all the facts, so those of you who are much nerdier than me, and I'm a pretty big nerd. So Edgar Wright, this was been like his project that he wanted. He and Marvel worked for many years to try to get this project off the ground, and he really wanted to do the movie. He was going to write it, he was going to direct it, and then somewhere along the way, they started butting heads on, as normally does happen on a lot of movies. Pixar's not, Pixar had their problems with Brave, and they've had, some other problems here and there. Disney's had problems with their productions, and things happen. So he left the production, and then, Paul Rudd was already on board, and he came in and helped out with the screenplay, and a couple other guys came in. I thought it was pretty good. It had a tendency to fall apart, but they put this great movie together. I don't think it's going to be on par with Avengers: Age of Ultron or Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's not going to be as big a hit. So some people may say it's a flop, but it's nowhere near a flop. I mean, I think it's going to be a great movie.
All right, so let me ask the nerdy, geeky Marvel question here. Will we see Ant-Man as part of the overall Avenger next movie?
Spoilers? If you don't want to hear anything, skip ahead a couple minutes. Yes. In the original run of the Avengers, Ant-Man was one of the original Avengers. So, that was one of the weird things about this movie. They took, Hank Pym and his wife, and they took them back, 30 years. And the Avengers have just now formed. So they're going to take Hope, Pym, and Scott Lang in and bring them into the Avengers universe. And the coolest thing about Ant-Man was the Pym particle that allows him to shrink.
Right.
In the comic books also allowed him to grow. Ooh. And so the reason that he was on the Avengers was he was one of the few Avengers that could actually take on the Hulk, because he could grow to a size that the Hulk would be small, and he would be able to control it.
So we can have Ant-Man and Gigantic Man?
Yeah, all in the same person, so it's kind of freaky. So, and they hinted at that a little bit, because he's got the little rings that shrink and grow.
Right.
I mean, what if he uses one of those rings on himself and he grew? And well, I don't want to give away too much of the movie, but
Play the movie.
Right. So let's go through this real quick. If you don't know about Ant-Man from Marvel, it's the next evolution of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, bringing the founding member of the Avengers to the big screen for the first time in Marvel Studios' Ant-Man, armed with the astonishing ability to shrink in scale but increase in strength. Master Thief Scott Lang, played by Paul Rudd, will embrace his inner hero to help his mentor, Dr. Hank Pym, Michael Douglas, to protect the secret behind his spectacular Ant-Man suit from a new generation of towering threats. Almost seemingly insurmountable obstacles, Pym and Lang must plan and pull off a heist that will save the world. And Marvel's Ant-Man delivers on high-stakes, tension-filled adventure, and that launches on July 17th, 2015. Happy birthday, Disneyland. Here's Ant-Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna definitely say you should go see it, and because I enjoyed it. I think it was a fun movie. I would even say it could be a family movie. I'm not sure what it was rated. It was definitely not rated. Probably PG-13.
Yeah, there was a couple of S words and an A word, but there wasn't anything horrible. There wasn't anything super graphic bad about it. That's one thing that Sid said. That's a family movie.
Yeah.
Like if you can get out through a couple of cuss words, but yeah. So let's move on and talk about something new that's coming. This is something that's very near and dear to my heart because I love it so. New details have surfaced about the upcoming Avatar Land at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Now, there's been a lot of information that we've heard about. We know that they're still tweaking some things, but the LA Times recently came out like a couple days ago with a news article where they really kind of listed four of the big things that a couple of them I had not heard before. But instead of Beastly Kingdom dedicated to dragons and unicorns and sea creatures, we get Avatar Land, which, wink, wink, nod, nod, will be debuting in 2017. I've heard 2020, but 2017 is the posted date. That'll be at the Walt Disney World Resort in the Animal Kingdom Park. What used to be Camp Mini Mickey is no more. So this area of Animal Kingdom will be populated by the blue-skinned Na'vi people with bioluminescent trees, flying banshees, all from the 2009 Avatar movie. Now, this theme land is going to be tied to a trio of sequels continuing their story set forth in the highest-grossing film of all time. James Cameron, who directed, wrote, and produced the original science fiction epic, promises that Avatar Land will let visitors, and I quote, live, eat, breathe, and God help me, smell Pandora. And the LA Times are reporting some new information about the attractions housed inside the new land. The first is their big e-ticket Banshee flight simulator, similar to Soarin' over at Epcot or Soarin' over California at Disney's California Adventure. And James Cameron said it's going to be much better than those rides. We'll see what that means.
Did they actually call it Avatar Land in the article? Because I've heard Imagineering still calling it Pandora, just as a general reference.
Yeah, it was Avatar Land in the article, but that doesn't necessarily mean that.
Because Animal Kingdom doesn't have lands.
Right.
There's not Asia Land, Dino Land. It's just different countries.
That would be racially insensitive. You're correct.
Yeah. So it's just, all right. So anyway.
All right. So their D-ticket attraction is going to be an indoor boat ride similar to Pirates of the Caribbean, which will take riders on a river journey through the illuminated forest of Pandora. A long time ago, you and I had a conversation about, I'm glad that we're talking about this new
patent.
Ride track patent they came up with where boats could be launched similarly to how they do in the Pirates, and they could go by themselves, and then they would reconnect, and they would come out of the water, and then they would disconnect, and they would tour through. What if this is that ride?
It is that ride. It's got to be that ride. It's got to be. They filed that patent a long, long time ago. It's an omnimover type system for boats where the boat never has to stop.
Right.
It can be loaded as it's moving, very similar to like a dune buggy. That was the intent of the patent.
Right.
It's got to be this.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they're housing it in the same building that they're building this flight ride.
Yeah.
Because That's a pretty big building. I mean, I know they have to build it big to, for the flying scenes. But anyway, so that's going to be their ticket attraction. And we did know this already. There's going to be a nighttime spectacular featuring music performers and water screen projections that will take place on Disney River, similar to World of Color. I thought that was very interesting that they're going to be doing a World of Color type thing. I knew they were doing a nighttime show. I was not anticipating the World of Color type projection screen.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's been out that I just missed, but I thought it was interesting enough to talk about.
This is where I would take the voice of the board of Disney and say, really? Another water screen show?
Correct.
You can't come up with anything better?
Right.
You have that big tree. You can't do, tree mapping or something, projection mapping and do something else, or, on Everest or whatever. That would have been what I would have said. Yeah.
Right. And then the fourth thing that jumped out at me was, this is what the description was. By day, Avatar Land will be populated by lush jungle foliage, floating mountains, and the ruins of a military base camp sprinkled with audio animatronics, 3D projections, and hologram effects. I had not seen that before. How are they going to do 3D projections and hologram effects? That I've got to see.
Okay. I just saw a podcast of this guy that was talking about these two last things, 3D projections and holographic effects. He showed a video in an airport. It was a cutout of a woman.
Yes.
And it's projected from the back, and it looks like as if this woman is standing in front of you talking to you.
Right. I've seen something very similar to that.
And the 3D projection thing, think of... what was it? I think the Country Music Awards or the Grammys, where Carrie Underwear had that dress.
I think that was Underwood. I think it was Underwood.
Yeah, whatever. Carrie Underwear, that's what I call her. Stood, with that dress, and they mapped stuff.
Right.
I think they're very similar to that kind of mapping technology, I think, is what this 3D projection will be. Now, where they're going to do that and how they're going to do it, that's Imagineering's problem.
Well, I'll say this. I have no passion for Avatar. I thought the movie was amazing. I thought it was great. But when they made the announcement, I groaned. I gave the Imagineer grief at D23 2 years ago. I'm not a big fan of this idea. But the technology and the rides, I'll ride them just like everybody else will. I'll enjoy the snot out of them because I want to see the technology in place. I want to see the animatronics that they're using, the 3D projection and the hologram stuff just really intrigues me. That's why I brought it up today. I thought it was a very interesting news article, and more information hopefully is going to start coming out. And I really do hope that it's 2017 and not 2020. I keep hearing 2020,
Can't be 2020. It's way too far out in the future.
Or 2018, 2019.
2017, 2018, I believe. I would believe more 2017. I think they have to get this thing up and running, to start seeing a return on investment.
Right.
There's so much construction in that park. They have to open something or do something just to, I mean, I understand they're opening things as they're getting them done, but...
and I'll say this. They made this announcement for Avatar Land 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Prior to D23, 2013. Okay. So since then, Universal has opened Harry Potter, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Hogsmeade, and over on the other park, they've done Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Diagon Alley.
Yeah. And a resort.
And a new resort.
Yeah.
And they're in the process of building another resort, and they're opening a water park. We still don't have Avatar Land.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I understand.
That's why 2020 can't happen, John.
Fantasyland is nice and all. Dadgum, kids. And now we're talking about a $3 billion park overhaul for, their third gate that's already, at Hollywood Studios. It's already a half-day park. There's a lot of amazing things happening, and please do not misunderstand what I'm saying. Love Disney. I bleed Mickey red. You guys know that. But there's a lot of stuff that could be really blowing up in our faces here. And not that it's a competition, but Universal is killing some things right now. They're doing a great job. And most of the people who were designing that stuff used to work at Disney. So let's talk about something fun. Speaking of D23.
Speaking of D23, D23 recently announced the 8 new Disney legends that will be awarded at the D23 Expo in 2015. Neither one of us are going, I don't think.
Nope, not going.
We're both taking a pass on this expo because I want
to. The problem is all the wait time.
I am sure there'll be tons and tons of Meerkat and Periscope videos for us to enjoy.
It's not like being in the room.
It's close enough.
All right.
So let's start off this list. The 8 recipients. Let's talk about the ceremony a little bit. So the Disney Legends Award Program is a 28-year-old tradition of the Walt Disney Company, and the first Disney Legend recipient was
Fred McMurray.
That's right, the Shaggy Dog, and the Absent-Minded Professor, and the Happiest Millionaire. And for me, that is awesome because that's the Disney movies that I used to go see on Saturdays.
Yep.
You used to get a couple cartoons, which they don't do anymore, and then a wonderful, nice family movie.
Yep, they don't do that anymore either.
Yeah. He was honored back in 1987, and now the 3-day expo provides the opportunity for Disney fans to be part of these memorable and prestigious events.
Right.
So I think it's kind of cool that they are doing them at the expo, and these legends and these people that we've all grown up with, and all, some people may know them a little bit more than others, depending on how much of a Disney fan you are, get to enjoy them receiving this honor from Disney. And it's not just this award they receive. If you've ever been to the studio, their handprints and their picture and their thing is put in bronze and stuck up on the wall for forever.
Wow. Right.
So it's not just that they walk away with this nice little trophy thing, right. But they're ever embedded in the Disney architecture. All right, first up is George Bodenheimer, who recently retired as the executive chairman of ESPN in May of 2014. Right. I didn't know that.
Yeah, George has been around for a long time. He's been at ESPN for a long time, and he's done some other things outside of that. But his tenure with the company was just it was amazing, and he really helped to build ESPN to what it was. And obviously it's in the Disney fold, so this one did make sense.
Yep. Next up is I just saw a picture of him on Facebook. It's Andreas Deja. He's a link to Disney's past as one of the greatest animators of this modern era. He is known for his rich portraits of villainy, having animated for Gaston, Beauty and the Beast, Jafar, and Scar for The Lion King. I guess he likes doing evil people.
He is definitely with the dark side.
Yeah. He is just driving the dark side. Next up is Edwin Earl, is one of the greatest of the Disney artists, brought his unique style to a number of memorable projects, but perhaps the purest realization of his vision remains the visual styling and backgrounds for the Disney classic of Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
And we went to that event with Lon Smart, and yes, I would agree.
Yeah. Sleeping Beauty is one of my favorite, just of how it looks visually. It's stunning, and I'm glad that I'm glad you pronounced his name. I'm glad he's getting the award, because one of the things that Lon did is he went through several photos of just literally the backgrounds, and they're just gorgeous. They're art. They're literally just pieces of art.
The next one up, this guy is there's probably like 3 people that if you say their name, you'd go, oh, that's, I know that. There's Williams, there's this next person, and I'm trying to think who the third is.
James Horner?
Yeah. The Soundtracks to Your Life. So they're honoring Danny Elfman, who has provided songs and the score for The Nightmare Before Christmas, for which he also provided the singing voice of Jack Skellington, which is I did not know until just now.
Yep.
He also scored several Disney films, including Alice in Wonderland, The Avengers: Age of Ultron, Dick Tracy, Dead Presidents, Flubber, Good Will Hunting, which is an Oscar-nominated Best Score, A Civil Attraction, Instinct, Frank, The Oz, Great and Powerful, and Elfman. Also wrote the theme for ABC's Desperate Housewives and penned the music for the Mystic Manor attraction at Disney's Hong Kong. So he really has no ambition in life to do anything.
None. Plus, he was the lead singer for Oingo Boingo.
There you go.
Weird Science.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. If you really have to probably go get his music and put it on your iPod and really, start listening to some of that stuff, because he really does a lot of stuff. Next up, this guy needs really no introduction. I don't know how Iger is going to introduce him, really, because really, what do you say about this dude?
What do you say about this person that has not already been said?
Yeah. He's the god to the Star Wars universe. George Lucas. That's
George Lucas. Yeah.
That's what you say. I mean, he's George Lucas.
Right. Yeah. So there you go. It's George Lucas. George Lucas is being honored. Yeah. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's George Lucas.
This guy. He made all those Star Wars things that you guys hate.
Yeah. Well, not only that, Star Wars, Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Indiana Jones, and he's got a long laundry list of things.
Yeah, he's done a couple things.
Yeah. I thought the next one was interesting. They went back to a place that they haven't gone to really lately, the soap opera world.
Right.
Remember they used to have the soap weekends or whatever in the parks. So Susan Lucci, who portrayed Erica Kane on ABC's fabled soap opera All My Children for 41 years, will be honored with a Legend Award.
That's great. I remember, and I'm not a big soap opera person. I know that comes as a great shock. But wasn't Susan Lucci snubbed for years?
Yes.
And never won an Emmy Award.
Correct.
And then she finally won it. And then every year for the next decade.
When she said she was leaving.
Yeah, I quit. You win the award. Thank you.
You either have to quit or you have to be dying. And then you can get the award.
Right. But for 41 years, I mean, she played one character on one TV show for 41 years. That is, in and of itself, inconceivable.
Yeah.
And I think that it's great. And it's ABC, obviously owned by Disney. So, I think this is a wonderful award. Well-deserved for what it is. She's a Disney legend.
All right, now the next person, this is going to sound weird, but I met her at a D23 event.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
And she's a very cool person. She was very easy to talk to. Her name is Julie Rhyme Casaletto, and you may not know her, but she began her career as a tour guide and became Disneyland's first ambassador in 1965, a role created to help Walt, who found it increasingly difficult to attend all the events of which he was invited to. So he used to send Disneyland ambassadors to go to these events. And then they started doing things like children's hospitals and visits and all those kind of things. And now it's a huge program. At the last expo, I actually went to a panel of ambassadors, which
I remember that.
Yeah, and I this is something that Walt created, so I figured it's got to be good. He created this program for a reason, and these people are still carrying on that tradition. And it is very, 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 very difficult to become an ambassador. You just don't apply, and they go, "Oh, John, you want to do that? That sounds great. Come on board."
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. Hey, here's the costume you got to wear. It's not that easy, kids. I met her, and I'm glad that she's winning an award because I think she fits the word legend.
Cool.
In a sense. The next person up is Carson Van Oosten, who helped design Disney characters to life in a variety of media all around the world for 3 decades. I haven't heard this name, so I'm going to have to do a little research on this dude.
Yeah, Carson, I knew it. Hang on. Yeah, he oversaw the creative content for motion picture advertising tie-ins. So a lot of the Disney publications and a lot of the first licensing style guides for Disney consumer projects ran through this guy. So he also designed logos for Mickey Mouse's 50th and 60th birthdays and the Walt Disney Studios logo and water tower designs and the Disneyland Hotel Clock Tower Mickey logo in Paris, which I've seen, and it's pretty outstanding.
Yeah. So you know what? I did hear his name when Epcot had their 30th. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. The guy who was in charge of the marketing department mentioned his name.
Carson. Nice.
And because he developed a lot of the marketing materials that, they were using. That's good.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the legends. I love the fact that Disney doesn't always give it to the stars.
Yeah.
Not that this gentleman wasn't a star. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think that it's great that Disney actually honors people that don't have the name recognition. Like in the original article that we pulled the information from, it says that 257 Disney legends have already been named.
Right.
And the cool thing is when you read through the list, I mean, obviously Tim Allen, Robin Williams, Julie Andrews, Regis Philbin, Annette Funicello, those names make total sense. But then you start getting into some of the names of people that you don't necessarily know, like Bill Farmer. We know who Bill Farmer is because we've talked to him. We understand who he is.
Yeah.
But not everybody knows who that is. Harry, I can't remember pronounce his name, Arkinel, with the Disney company for years. Don Iwerks.
Right.
Leota Toombs Thomas.
Right.
I mean, to stop and think about.
I think I've seen her name on a tombstone before.
Yes. If you don't know who that person is, you need to do some research on that. Leota Toombs Thomas. She has a very important person in the parks named after her. So I think that it's really cool, and I think Disney did something at the very first D23. I mean, they're the same D23 that they were inducting Jodie Benson. They also inducted our names totally. The voice of Princess and the Frog.
I can't think of her name.
I can't think of her name either.
Yeah.
They inducted her as well. I thought that was really neat because her legacy with Disney is pretty much set. I mean, as the first African American princess, I think that's really neat. And I don't mean it to sound as bad as that neat. I think that's really a well-deserved an award that Disney has set that standard, and I think that's cool. She'll for always and forever not only be a princess, she's a Disney legend.
Yeah, and Jodie Benson probably gave my most favorite acceptance speech when she received her Legends Award. So go Google that or YouTube it, and you'll really enjoy that. Bob Iger, chairman and CEO of the Walt Disney Company, stated the Disney Legend Award is our highest honor, and we are incredibly proud to recognize these 8 talented individuals who have contributed so much to the world of entertainment and the Disney legacy. Their vision and dedication to their work have brought joy to the audiences around the globe and earned them a place in Disney history. End quote.
So we just want to definitely say congratulations to all the recipients. We hate that we're not going to be there, but it's a great list. It's an amazing list.
And if any of you want to come on the podcast and talk about receiving the award, well,
absolutely,
we'll certainly have you.
I would love to have the Disney ambassador on to hear her story.
Yeah. Let's see if she's on Facebook. Maybe we can hunt her down.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So speaking of Star Wars, I know that Tony downloaded it, and I pretty much downloaded it too. I try not to play.
Yet.
You haven't?
No.
Oh, dude, it's because you're not a nerd like me. The new Star Wars app was released, and when it came out, I got it.
What's it
called? A lot of fun. It's called Star Wars.
It's got a catchy name.
It does have a catchy name. The new Star Wars app was introduced for iOS and Android devices, hence my ability to download it. Because I'm still a droid for right now. The new app provides instant notifications about announcements that include trailer releases and movie news, offers the ability to theme their app for either the light side, the dark side, or droid interfaces, which is hilarious, containing different designs, sounds, and animations, including classic sound clips and effects, and allows Star Wars fans to share animated GIFs of memorable scenes and characters from the Star Wars movies and TV shows, to name just some of the app's many features. And one of the coolest things that the app does is allows you to train with your lightsaber. I crashed and burned, but the scene where Luke is on the Millennium Falcon and he's trying to train with a little ball thing. Yeah, you do that. You basically do that. You hold your phone up and you play with it, and it's really cool. The GIFs that they pulled, the repeating motion GIFs are hilarious, and you can share them and do all sorts of kind of things with it. They've also integrated the thing that came out earlier that Disney was allowing you to put your face inside of a scene.
Right.
You can do that as well. Obviously, as close as we're getting to the movie now, more trailer, more news is going to come out. If you spent any time, I don't know, Tony, if you did. I spent a lot of time watching some of the stuff from, they just had Comic-Con this past weekend. The Star Wars panel at Comic-Con was off the chain, incredible. Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher there, as well as the new cast. It's going to be, I'm hoping it's going to be an amazing movie, because I just know the quality of J.J. Abrams' work, and I trust that he's put a lot of love into it. So this app is really kind of cool.
Yeah, sounds cool. I'm downloading right now.
Awesome.
Now, can you play? There's not many games that you can play, like play and I can play, even though you're in your house, I'm in my house.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of a cool little piece of technology if we can lightsaber duel each other.
Yeah. That's there's like a quiz game that you can play online like that. But anyway.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, you got Words with Friends kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, it is possible. I'm surprised Disney hasn't done it. Okay, so over in Disneyland, they are getting some new games, and I am surprised it's taken this long. We have a couple games in our parks.
Yes. Well, when you do your 60th anniversary, you have to do something.
And I'm thinking, why do they need a game? It's so small. You can just... I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's...
Have to have something to do while you're standing in line, because it's the 60th anniversary. And
I guess.
Everybody and their cousin's going to be there, except for me.
Yep. So this July, taking part in the Looking for Mickey Quest begins July 16th. While Quest Guides supplies last. So what, they just print 10? You can search for hidden Mickeys throughout the Disneyland Resort. I don't... That doesn't make sense while supplies last. Should last the whole summer.
Yeah, no. They're doing little itty bitty things like this. It's cotton.
We don't know if it's going to work, so we'll just give it a shot.
Yeah, we'll just try it. We'll just play with it for a little bit and see what works.
All right. For my Disneyland friends that live on the West Coast, and you know who you are, please, for the love of Disneyland, get me one of these guides, because I need it for my collection. Get 2 guides.
Thank you.
Mr. Park Hopper John would like one, and I would like one as well.
I'm just saying there's money in it. I'm offering to pay for it. So.
Yeah, I'll pay the postage. I don't got a problem with that.
Yeah.
Since they're limited, you probably should be the first 100th person in the park on July 16th, because that's probably printed.
Well, there's a cost to this.
Sure, but with a cost, you print a gazillion of them.
No, I'm saying there's a cost to the game.
Yeah, I get that. But so let's get on with the game and how this played. So there are 2 ways to play, and here's how it works. There will be a Looking for Mickey Quest themed, I think it's supposed to be booth, at Disneyland Park at the California Adventure. These locations will have the clues, the hidden Mickeys, and surprises for each quest, and each quest will vary. You have to purchase a quest guide from one of the parks and follow the clues that will direct you to the location where each hidden Mickey can be found. Once you arrive at the location, scratch off the answer to reveal if you have found the hidden Mickey. Whether your answer is right or wrong, you'll return the quest guide to the redemption location to pick up a surprise. And the surprise will be you'll probably owe them more money.
Yes, you get to go out this door and don't come back.
All right, so you're gonna go out. You're gonna find a hidden Mickey. You scratch it off. It's wrong. Then you go to another location. You scratch that off. It could have been the other one that you scratched off that was wrong. That's just gonna mess up your guide, I think. All right. So anyway, let's get on with the rest of it. So the Disneyland Park on Looking for Mickey Quest guide has 20 questions and can be purchased for $19.95 plus tax at the following locations: Disneyana, the Gag Factory, Pieces of 8, and Star Trader. Quest guide comes with a specially limited themed lanyard. Interesting. Available while supplies last, and no discounts will be allowed, and there is a limit of 2 per guest. If you're charging me $19.95, what do you matter if I want? What do I do if I've got a family of 4?
Well, limited 2 per guest. So you could buy 2, your wife could buy 2.
What if I don't have a wife? What if I have me and 3 kids?
Each kid could buy 1 or 2.
That's crazy.
Per guest, my friend.
All right, over at the Disney California Adventure Park, the Disney California Adventure Park Looking for Mickey guide has 10 questions and can be purchased only for $12 $12.95 plus tax at the following locations: the Elias and Company, Off the Page, Oswald's, Radiator Springs Curios and Tees, Hats and Tattoos, and the Quest Guide comes with a specially limited themed lanyard, available while supplies, no discounts, and limited to the same 2 people that purchased the other 2 guides. Whether you choose to search for hidden Mickey guides or not, return with your Looking for Mickey Quest Guide to the respective redemption location before July 31st to pick up your surprise. Note the Quest Guide must be returned for the redemption location within the specific park, and the surprise varies based on the quest and the park you decided to conquer.
You're going to go and you're going to buy a Quest book that's got 10 if you're in California Adventure or 20 if you're in Disneyland. You're going to go around and you have to scratch off. So you're playing the lottery. Even if the questions are wrong, you can go back and get a surprise.
Right.
All of the, so if you're local and you can visit a couple of times, you don't have to do all of them in one day, but they all have to be turned in by July 31st.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what the surprise is. And I have no idea what it is.
The Mickey sticker.
No. I have a feeling it's a pin that's going to go on the lanyard they're giving you.
It may be. That's a good idea.
Why are they giving you a lanyard? Yeah, why are they giving you a lanyard?
I don't know.
Well, you gotta finish the puzzle. The rest of the puzzle is a pin to go on that lanyard.
Right. Now, here's the thing about this. This story went live, I think, yesterday, which will be the 13th.
Right.
And you have until the 31st.
Get out.
We're going to do all this for 2 weeks, and then we're going to do something else. That's great. I think it's cool. You know, I kind of wish I was out there, but you know, you go to Epcot, you can play the platypus game.
Is that still
free.
out there?
Oh yeah. The Kim Possible turned into the whatever the name of the platypus guy is from Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah, Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah, so you can still do that. So
still the game over at the Animal Kingdom.
Yes, that's a great game. Gosh, it's such a great game. It's the Wilderness Explorers.
Yeah,
it's so great.
I haven't tried that.
And you still got Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom.
Yes, and you have the pirate game in the Magic Kingdom too.
That's true. Yeah. So there's I appreciate
there's nothing at the studios.
Well, the studios are halfway gone, so I guess there's nothing they can do yet.
Find the construction zone.
Find the safe place where construction's not happening. Find the one-man's dream.
Oh, all right, let's talk about that for a second, now that you brought that up. There is a vicious, awful rumor going around and a petition on change.org that is saying they are taking out One Man's Dream.
Well, the article said they were closing its doors.
In my opinion, it should never happen.
Well, dude,
you can't take out the thing that tells us about the person of which there is a thing that you're taking out the thing. You can't destroy the history of the person that made the thing.
Let me take you to 5 years in the future. No, not even 5. Let's just say 10 years. Let's take you 10 years in the future. You're driving down World Drive, okay? You're not you. You're some other dude from Alabama. Mm-hmm. You got your wife and you got a couple of kids. Your 6-year-old son taps you on the shoulder and says, "Daddy, who is Walt Disney and why is Walt Disney World named after him?" Mm-hmm. That's going to happen if it hasn't already happened. Mm-hmm. I honestly believe that with all my heart. And it breaks when I think about that. Now, as a caveat, yes, they're closing the doors. They could be doing a lot of renovations. You know, I know that they're going to reopen the animator studio at some point with more of the learn to draw the character spots. Right. This may be one of those times when they're overhauling the area. Of course, they just got a new refurb, 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. This may be one of those things where they're moving and they're consolidating it so they can do more of the Pixar stuff. I hope
and that D23 is the people that, curate now what's in those showcases.
It behooves them to keep it open. But have you seen what they've done with the Pirates, the Captain Jack Sparrow experience? Have you seen what they've done with that? No. I saw this on another Magic from the Inside or something like that site. Mm-hmm. And the little entranceway to the little entrance that you would go into before you went into the Captain Jack Sparrow experience, they've put to 9 feet. They've put walls up. They painted the walls. They put some faux windows. They put some artwork. They put a bunch of park benches.
Wow.
And so they're churning out air conditioning, and they're like cool spots.
Huh.
That you can go in and kind of stay cool. What they didn't do is they didn't take the Pirate Jolly Roger off the top of the wall at like the 12-foot mark.
Yeah.
And they've got some.
The ladder didn't go that high that day, John.
Yeah, ladders don't go that high.
They only had the 9-foot ladder, not the 12-foot ladder.
Right. So there's still a little bit of that there. And then, by the time I get there, they might have already made the change 100% complete. Great job, guys, for, trying to do something with the space. Great job for trying to help keep people cool. But you have this space over there. This is going to be a temporary thing because I think
let me tell you a story. Back in the day when you walked into the Magic Kingdom, on the right-hand side where Mickey is today, used to be a place that you used to learn about Walt Disney, and eventually became, a place where they showed then Mickey cartoons and that. And just that evolution from taking him out of there to he was nowhere in any of the parks was a huge uproar. And now that he's back in a park and they're going to take him out again and possibly permanently, I think there's a lot of cast members that I think are going to be mad at that. Outside of the cast member world, I think a lot of people that are Disney fans and truly believe that, I think what Disney is trying to do, Disney, the company, is take the name or the man out of the picture. That it just wants to be the Disney company, not the Walt Disney Company now. Right. I mean, the name of the company is the Disney Company. It's not the Walt Disney Company anymore. And I think they want to do that with the parks. All the parks, I think they want to be, Disneyland or something like that. And also what makes me believe that this may be true is on Cosena Drive, where they're currently doing construction for I-4, is on your way towards I-4 now. They've taken down the main sign on that side of the road. Now, it may be temporary for the construction of I-4, but I have a feeling that the rest of the sign is going to come down. And it's not going to say Walt Disney World. And when they put it up, it's not going to say Walt Disney World. It's going to say Disney World. That's my guess.
Well, I'll go ahead and say this officially on the record. You know that I don't have a lot of love for the last 10 years of Michael Eisner's reign. It did. The first 10 years when he was working with... That's not going
to help us get him on the show, John.
Hang on. I'm sorry. Who was his cohort in crime? Who was his guy before he died?
Ron, Ortiz.
No.
I can't think of his name.
Whatever. The first 10 years, when Eisner had his partner that kept him balanced.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Best 10 years for the company since Walt Disney. Last 10 years when he passed away, not so great because Eisner was left to his own devices, but still wanted the company to be great. I think he was trying to make himself Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'll say this. Flash forward, Bob Iger comes in. The first thing that Bob Iger does is he brings Oswald the Lucky Rabbit back into the Walt Disney family.
Right.
Purchases Marvel, purchases Pixar, purchases Marvel, purchases ESPN if they didn't already have it.
Yeah.
I'm a little foggy. And then they purchased Star Wars. I'm a little foggy on the ESPN thing. So if you're out there and you're judging me, please forgive me. I'm not sure. The thing that would be the worst thing is Bob Iger's legacy is I'm the guy that took Walt Disney out of the Walt Disney parks. And I think if that's the way that it pans out to be, and I hope that I'm speaking like a total in 5 years and I'm completely wrong, but if that's his legacy, that's the most nefarious act. Nothing that Michael Eisner ever did or said is worse than that. I'm hoping... Well, there's a couple things, but I'm hoping that I'm hoping that it's either a temporary closure or it's a relocation closure or it's we're preparing for something better. They're pulling out, what I was going to say earlier is that whole pirate experience butts right up against, one man stream. Take all of that out, which butts up against that theater. Mm-hmm. Take what they need to for the, Toy Story area. That's great. But having something Walt Disney one man stream, having something there, like that would be tantamount to what scares me is they're going to take the Walt Disney office out of the animation courtyard. That would be equally as horrible to me. So, I'm hoping that we don't know what we don't know. and that he stays in there. But if they start taking the Walt Disney stuff down and it's no longer Walt Disney World, it's just Disney World, it's going to be a hard day for me to keep staying positive about the company. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Okay, so if you are still listening to this, we want to thank you for listening. We appreciate you coming to the podcast every week and taking a listen and bearing to us, listening to us banter about, whatever it's Disney this week. If you can, please go to DisneyParksPodcast.com and you can like us on our Facebook, like us on our Twitter, follow us on our Twitter, our Pinterest, our tweeters, our whatever we have out there, social media, John. But I can't remember all the social platforms we're on anymore.
Yeah, well, it's basically 2. It's Facebook. Okay. Facebook, which is Facebook.com/Disney Parks Podcast.
Yeah.
And then Twitter, which is Disney Podcaster.
Okay, there you go.
The most important thing is to listen to us over the Stars and Cars Motor Show.
Yeah.
Over on
Saturdays on Sorcerer Radio.
Yep.
And if you are not listening to the show, I don't know how you got it, but you can find us on many, many different platforms like Stitcher Radio and iTunes and all the Downcast, Upcast, Sidecast that are out there. Any app probably has us. I can't even think of all the apps we're on. But that's it. So thank you for listening, and we hope we'll see you in the parks.
The Disney Parks Podcast is not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company. All Disney parks, attractions, lands, shows, event names, etc. are registered trademarks of the Walt Disney Company.
Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you.